Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à la Saladcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saladcast. On Saturday the 28th of July 2012, I'm your host Dan Trey. Joining me today, Robert Kemp.
That actually sounds really cool with Zach's feedback.
And Zachary Burgess.
Oh, you've got feedback.
Yeah,
Don't want to turn my shit down. I won't be able to hear you.
You've got an echo.
Yeah, somewhat echoey. Yeah, you need to just leave it up so you can hear us, and then buy a better freaking...
Well, as long as we just do loud, Olympic announcements for the entire thing, it won't sound too out of place.
Okay.
Yeah, just singing feedback.
That's my plan, basically. Just say everything twice, starting in French.
2012 sounds
why
kind
does
of
it
cool.
start in French anyway? I mean,
I think it's because the Olympic founder dude was French.
Yes, but that doesn't mean you can't have that be different for 1 year or something.
Why don't they do it in Greek? Surely that's more appropriate.
Yeah, that's true.
Then no one would understand it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how the Olympics is like a French thing now.
Well, they do it at Eurovision as well, I guess, but...
Yeah, that's true, but
that might be because French is probably the most widespoken language in Europe, I suppose.
I don't even know if that's true.
No.
Probably English is more widely spoken. I don't know about as a first language, what do you think is the most widely... I mean, it just depends on the country, right? If Germany has more people than France, then it's German. But if it's France, then it's French. Simple as that, really.
But then there's, French Belgians as well.
Yeah, but not that many. Belgium isn't that big.
And do Luxembourg speak French, or do they have
Luxembourg?
Luxembourg?
They're Dutch, don't they? Or whatever.
How are they?
Netherlands and all that.
Hollandaise.
We clearly know all about the world because of the Olympics. We're so well up on knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, we were trying to play the nation game last night and failing really badly.
You were failing, I was doing okay.
What's the game?
We were trying to, when they do the nation walk at the opening ceremony.
Yeah, and it takes 2 hours.
Yeah. It's we're not going to possibly name all of these countries, so it's rather than playing what's coming up next, we'll do what comes at the beginning and end of each letter.
Oh.
So it's who alphabetically.
Alright, who's the first of the Bs alphabetically in terms of nations?
Was it the Bahamas?
Alright. Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe. It's hard to remember because a lot of them were crazy names.
Well, a lot of the ones that you tried to guess, where it was I've got this! Oh no, there was some random country with a weird name!
Yeah, that we had never heard of that has a Y as its second character. Damn it!
They said there's more countries in the Olympics than in the UN. What's in that Venn diagram? Who are the ones that aren't in the UN?
Most of them, really.
No, most nations are in the UN. There aren't very many that
big
aren't
nations,
on Earth.
I suppose. There's probably more little nations that aren't in the UN.
Yeah,
no, not that
in
many.
In the Olympics, it's probably a lot of the stupid Pacific Island nations aren't in the UN, I'd bet.
Like Laos? Or the Virgin Islands? Do they have a seat?
Let's see.
But Uzbekistan. Fuck you, Uzbekistan.
Yes, that was a classic.
You cost me my Uruguay. Oh, what the... Oh, seriously.
The telephone's ringing.
You gotta be kidding me.
It's going great so far.
It's actually a number that I've got marked on my phone as being telemarketing as well.
Oh.
Motherfuckers.
Yes, leave us alone.
It's I know your number, bitch. I've got your number.
Got your number.
Damn, I can't find a list of non-members. I'm sure it'll be a lot shorter than list of members.
It's a shame you can't perform queries on Wikipedia. Can I intersect this list with this list?
Yeah, they need to sort of, add a kind of...
So what if Wiki and Wolfram got together and had a baby?
Yeah, well...
Wikifram, yeah.
So we've got Republic of Somaliland.
You were even there.
No, they wouldn't have been there because they're non-UN member states recognised by at least one UN member. So they're relatively legit, but they're not in the UN. They include the Republic of Abkhazia, the Republic of China. Oh, I see. So Taiwan, in other words, isn't in the UN. Oh, I see. That's probably because China will just tell everyone to sod off if they join, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Kosovo, apparently. That's weird. Anyway.
Plus, it's not called Taiwan, according to China.
No.
It's Chinese Taipei. Fuck you guys.
Indeed. Yes. So, Olympics.
Men are staying you as
Terrible
well.
start.
Yes.
Let's try and, somehow ramp up some enthusiasm here. We've just, totally flatlined immediately.
Turkmenistan. I blame them.
You blame the Turkmenistanis? What for?
For
our
being
flatlining
Ruining
podcast?
his turkey.
For being after Turkey in the alphabet.
Oh, God damn it. Broken his streak.
And Puerto Rico. He cost me a Portugal.
Unlucky. Portugal? Oh, that's quite long.
Yeah,
That's
but
quite
try and think
a
of
long way.
one letter P that's lower than Portugal.
Yeah, we didn't think of Puerto Rico.
Has an E, I guess.
Well, there's Puerto.
Yeah, it's a U.
Oh, is it you? Oh, shit. Okay.
See, that's the trouble.
Yeah, fair enough.
So did you watch any of the opening ceremony then, Dan?
Yeah, I caught quite a lot of the end of it and stuff. Because it went on until like...
You missed the boring
Quite
bit.
Yeah, you
I
missed
don't know,
the
I saw-
boring bit. Yeah.
The hour and a half of, chimneys.
Yeah,
I
it's like,
replayed some of it.
Let's watch the crew dismantle a set. Brilliant.
I thought it was quite cool how they made the rings out of like what looked like glowing iron, but was probably just LEDs. But
Yeah, that was the good bit of that sequence.
Yeah.
It was how long it took to get there that sucked.
Yeah,
And how long
potentially.
Kenneth Branagh had to smile.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't even think it was supposed to be him because I went to see Richard III the other day at the Globe, and the guy who played the main guy in that was Mark Rylance, and I think he was supposed to be in the opening ceremony giving that speech, but he pulled out because his stepdaughter died. So I suppose they brought in Kenneth Branagh. But fair enough.
But yeah, he just kind of, after a while, he just looked a bit creepy, if you know what I mean. Just standing there holding that face.
Yeah,
for
I don't
about
think
12 minutes.
Isambard Kingdom Brunel was that smiley in real life. Like you see pictures of him standing in front of lots of chains and stuff, but he's not like grinning inanely, is he? He's just like, yo, I built
he
this
probably
massive
also
fuck off
wasn't
shit.
doing a funky dance.
It's true. You picture him somewhere in between cheeky, ridiculous grin and the sort of gangster smirk, that sort of pout. It's more of a pout, isn't it? The gangster pout. So he's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, the pimpin' pout. Yeah.
The pimpin' pout.
He's like, look at my ship, the Great Western, big pimpin'.
Hashtag pimpin' pout.
Yeah. Check out this railway line. It's flat all the way to Bristol. Fuck yeah.
I could have gone up hills, I could have gone round corners, but fuck that.
I went
Brunel.
straight. So yeah, it was kind of, I don't know. I didn't know. The thing that annoyed me the most was the bit that I should have liked most, probably, is all the popular music stuff, because we are, Britain makes loads of awesome music for the size of our country and stuff.
That we do.
Pop music. But I find it very irritating hearing snippets of music that I'd quite like to hear the whole song of. It's like someone's got a shuffle on their iPod and they just...
Yeah, and there were some really awkward cuts in that mix as well. And I wasn't quite sure it was a good decision to keep going to and from Dizzy Rascal.
No, it was... That
was weird, because they kind of wanted him there, but then they wanted him in that clip later on of him in the house party that they were staging or something. Yeah. So they sort of cut back to him, and it was kind of... And then there was a few really awkward cuts in the sound, where it just suddenly stopped and went to some other song. With the rest of them were all kind of fairly nicely timed, but there was a couple that were just a bit shit.
Yeah.
Especially during the loft scene, shall we say.
The loft.
Yeah.
It was cool to have Tim Berners-Lee, but I'm sure they had to have a big sign for all the international audience. This guy created the World Wide Web, by the way. He's not just some random bloke. But that was kind of cool to include him, I guess. I think the best soundtrack moments were actually not in the musical montage. Like when the Team GB came in and they played Heroes by David Bowie. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a good choice.
And also, as I was saying to Zach just now, they wouldn't have said so, but during the parade and also in the very opening video for the whole thing, where it flies through the British Isles, some of the soundtrack was fuck buttons. Do you know I've talked about fuck buttons before?
You've told us,
yes. This is awesome. I was like, what? Have they put this in specifically for me? And
I'm pretty sure you can't broadcast this.
but apparently they did.
Well, you can't broadcast the song list anyway, and they probably won't put up the song list on the website. Say, oh, by the way.
No, yeah. That might cause a few raised eyebrows. But yeah, that was awesome.
There was a distinct lack of dubstep.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we invented that shit too.
We invented a lot of shit.
Yeah, but if you're going to do a musical montage, it's like, we
think
invented
we
a whole
needed-
genre, bitch.
Yeah, maybe.
They did have, I suppose they did have, like, Ball and Slippy, and like say we invented rave.
Yeah, well, I guess the Disney Rascal grime was kind of not just from Britain, but literally from East London. Like,
well, a lot of people seem to be complaining about like lack of any kind of Spice Girls, which would have made sense.
Well, yeah, why were they? Because
90s.
everyone thought that they supposedly got back together, didn't they? And they thought, well, surely they got back together to do something for the Olympics? It could be closing ceremony, I guess.
yeah,
but...
they're probably closing. They've got Blur at the closing and Muse at the closing ceremony.
Yeah, I was a bit
thought-
surprised that they didn't put Muse at the opening, because, it's the fucking Olympic song is by Muse.
That's true. I quite enjoyed the Come Together by the Arts in the Beatles cover. That was much better than freaking Paul. They'd just done Come Together. That would have been quite a bit better. I'm keen on Hey Jude.
No. Let's just wheel out the McCartney fucking cliche wagon.
Because the thing was, they had that concert for the Diamond Jubilee, I knew he'd come on at the end, and I was desperately hoping that he wouldn't Jude and he'd do Let It Be, and he did, and it was great. And then oh wait, no, Mark II comes along and he does Hey Jude. Damn it.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was just like, I can't do that again. It's like, we'll better do the other annoying big hit I have.
Yeah, well, I guess. Yeah, Let It Be wouldn't really have suited.
They should have just had Live and Let Die and be done with it.
Well, they did that at the Jubilee, didn't they? That was pretty cool. Did you see
kind
that?
of inappropriate, I suppose. Hey Queen, Live and Let Die.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't know. That's a pretty good song.
It's a good song,
I think, yeah, Heroes is probably the best one for Olympics-wise.
There was no Big Red Bus. There was no Boris cameo.
Oh, thank God.
Gotta have a Boris cameo.
He'll be around. He did. His remarks, his bashing of Mitt Romney, was funnier than anything in the
I don't think it was.
ceremony.
I think the actual bashing was that funny. It's just that anyone getting taken down by Boris is inherently funny.
Yeah, it's true.
The irony of it, I suppose.
Yeah. And of course, it doesn't matter what anyone in Britain thinks of Mitt Romney because that won't affect whether or not he gets elected. In fact, it might even help if we don't like him. I don't know. But
Beckham had the party vote.
that was pretty cool, especially that video where it looked like he was driving that boat, which he clearly wasn't. Surely,
but
it was just
how
him.
did they
and
do
that
the
guy.
live bit at the end?
Well, there were other people on the boat when he arrived at the end.
No, were there? Oh, I didn't see.
It looked to me like...
Well, there probably were. There was probably a cameraman.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but he might not have been driving. The cameraman can't drive on camera.
Yeah. But that boat
because
was very
cameras are
cool.
better.
It had jet engine looking things on it and purple lights on the wake and stuff. It was really
Party
weird.
boat.
It was very cool.
Yeah,
it's not very good for a party though, because it wasn't very big. It's like a speedboat, so it's not like a.
It depends how big a sound system you put in there. You just rock up to a beach somewhere, and then it's you don't need anyone on the boat. It's just.
Indeed.
We did see some pretty crazy ass boats in Venice.
Yeah, well, they'll get built in Ipswich, and then sort of they go down to Venice, don't they? Or
go party.
Monaco.
Party on the canal. Doesn't sound quite so cool when you say party on the canal.
No, it doesn't. Not quite. So yes,
not sure there's a good way of making canal sound cool. Canal.
Ew.
Very cool, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Canal party.
So that's the Olympics, or at least the ceremony part, not the actual sport part, which clearly is not as important.
Yeah.
I expect you'll watch tons of it, Zach, right? You'll probably watch everything.
Well, I don't know. Judging by the way, I'd watch more of it if it was actually highlights, because most of the time it's just like, here's the whole goddamn thing with a few important moments, Mark.
Right,
And
I've got to be honest, so far, I know it's only the first day, but I'm a bit pissed off with how the BBC are actually doing the sort of thing. So far, most of what I've seen on the BBC One feed is like interviews and shit. And they haven't actually shown much sport, or there's like it's all like cutaways and like, here's what's coming up next, and here's what's just happened, and here's like thinking that it's like, no, just show us the events, damn it.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's really annoying. Admittedly, they do have 25 HD channels reserved on Sky.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, no, actually, and if you want to add the SD channels, there's 50. They have 50 channels. 50
constantly broadcasting live Olympic
Well, not
channels.
all of them are active at any one time, but it's...
But during the day, probably.
Yeah, a lot of them are active, but not all. I did try and watch, like, Gnome wanted to watch a bit of the dressage, like, in the equestrian, and we're just watching it going... It was quiet in the house for about 6 minutes, say, and then at that point it was just like, do you know what the fuck's going on? It's like a horse walking around in circles.
Have you seen dressage before? It's quite weird.
I've got no idea what the fuck's going on. It's just, as far as I can tell, there's just a horse walking, and the commentators weren't talking about anything that was going on, or like what is supposed to be happening. It's just like, welcome to the horse channel.
I didn't know this before, but I suppose it's obvious. It's kind of in hindsight, but there's some obviously professions or whatever, like acting and media and stuff, where there's a lot more gay people than normal jobs. Well, dressage, all the men are gay apparently, which kind of makes sense, I suppose.
But why would that be? Because it's not like jockeys inherently gay.
No, jockeys aren't gay. Oh, well, some of them might be, but no, not just in general. You can't generalise and say all jockeys are gay, can you?
Jockeys is like hardcore riding, whereas dressage is like prancy riding.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what attracts.
So it's horse mincing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So, the more you know. Yeah. And also, this Romney thing, well, apparently... because like I was saying, it probably won't do much damage to him really back at home, which is where it matters. But one thing that might is apparently his wife has a horse that's competing in the dressage, and if it wins, it's going to kind of seriously highlight that Romney is like a rich bastard. Yeah, which everyone already knows, but it's only going to highlight it even more that he's
I think I'm missing something here. Tell me about Mitt Romney.
He's very rich, American businessman, yeah, and so he's basically, even though in America there's no class system, if you were to be upper class, then Mitt Romney would be it, I guess.
You'd be a misspelling of Rooney.
Yeah. Anyway, he's won the nomination, so he's going to be fighting Obama for the presidency in November.
Ah, I remember now, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
American politics flag doesn't really get raised very often.
Yeah, well, it's a big deal, but it doesn't really get like really massive until all the primaries.
A few years away.
Right? Yeah. Well, no, it's this year, isn't it?
Is it?
It's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years of Obama.
Yeah, I think so.
Michelle Obama's arms.
Well, he got inaugurated in the January, didn't he? So it'll be 4 years in this January. But of course, the election happens in November and stuff. And then you're like president-elect for like a couple of months or something if you win.
Huh. I didn't realise it came around so quick.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
4 fucking years. Oh.
Yeah. What was the first thing he did when he came in? We're going to close Guantanamo Bay. I'm signing this piece of paper. Is it closed? No. So, yeah.
They've probably thought about it a little bit. So what are we going to do with all these wars?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the trouble. The Republicans blocked. Basically, they're saying you can't try these people in American courts. In America, they're being blocked. So, yeah, you've got to do something with them, right?
I suppose they could stop putting more people there.
Yeah, well, they've probably done that. Train. So anyway, The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
It's not a patch on the Joker.
No, it couldn't beat The Dark Knight, but I wasn't expecting it to be possible to beat The Dark Knight.
No, that film is way too good.
I mean, The Dark Knight is the only superhero film I've seen that actually kind of transcends the genre and becomes just a really great film, you know, without being, oh, this is a great superhero film. Like this one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to box it into it.
No, exactly. Whereas The Dark Knight Rises is just a good superhero film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. It was cool.
It's a bit strange in places, I thought, because Bane starts off being really sort of pretty cool character, really, and his voice is awesome throughout the entire thing, even if it does sort of sound a little bit in places. But
I couldn't always tell exactly what he was saying, which was a bit annoying, because I knew his dialogue would be awesome.
And I thought there were a few things, because obviously they've dubbed his voice in later to get that sort of filter effect in on it. And there are some places where the sort of balance didn't seem to work. Like, people are shouting, and he's just casually talking, and it's really loud. And it's like his mouthpiece is actually some kind of amplifier system that works into that broadcasts into people's heads rather than into the
psychic amplifier.
Yeah, it's like you could talk into your mind or something.
It's a little weird, and but then as soon as the reveal happens at the end, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoilers.
Then he just sort of is no longer any kind of menacing.
No, well, they basically just killed him. But they just made him completely irrelevant in 1 second or something. Didn't they?
And then his whole character, his whole demeanor is removed from him, and it's like.
I agree.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, that did kind of suck, because he's cooler than what actually turns out to be. But
although I like that actress, she's normally pretty good.
Yeah, I was a bit annoyed that it became the kind of Nolan All-Stars, though. I mean, I knew that was coming because of the trailers, but it's like fucking Marion Cotillard and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and.
Well, she was in it before, because she was in Dark Knight, wasn't she?
Oh, was she? Yeah, but even so, it's like half the Inception team are back.
Yeah, I know. They're a good crew, though, in fairness.
I didn't think this film was as good as Inception either.
It also nothing's ever going to be as good as Inception, clearly.
Well, I thought...
even if the soundtrack does have a bit of blah...
A little bit, yeah. But that was cool. That's cool.
Pretty much every film has blah in it now.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, Christ.
Too much blah there.
Oh, man. Oh, that dick will be in bad places.
I'll tell you what I thought when I... This might
Don't take that out of context. Don't quote me on that.
Tried to avoid spoilers again, but the thing I thought when I came out of the film was, hang on, didn't that have the same plot as The World Is Not Enough? That Bond film?
I never saw that one.
Oh, right, okay.
The only thing I know that happens in that film is that what's-her-face is in it, big-boobed lady, and the boat does a barrel roll.
Yeah. Well, that's in the opening sequence, right? Yeah, that's slightly...
That's pretty much all I know about that.
Okay, well, watch it and you'll see that it's like a lame version of The Dark Knight Rises in terms of plot. Yeah. Complete with French woman and actress. I mean, not actually French character, I don't think.
I can't remember her name now, though. Is it Denise something?
Oh, you mean Denise Richards?
That's it, yeah.
No, she's the other girl. She's the other woman in the film. Yeah.
I don't know who yet.
She's she's the Catwoman equivalent in that analogy, I guess.
Yeah. Don't know who the tall woman was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then there's Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Bronholm, as they call him.
Bronholm.
As Adam and Joe call him. That maybe you shouldn't be living here.
Classic.
Oh, I love a bit of tapping. It did make me think maybe I should play through, just start over with Arkham City and just play it again.
Holy crap, video games. Now we're talking.
Yeah. I think having not played Arkham City myself, I can't help but think that there's probably some parallels between the storylines.
Yeah, actually, because it's got the kind of League of Shadows stuff in it in a way that Arkham Asylum didn't. So, yeah. But Talia is more in the game. Talia is, and presumably in the comics, although I haven't read, Talia is more ambiguous. She's more like Catwoman in that you don't know if she's a good guy or a bad guy.
Mm. I was a bit disappointed with Catwoman, I think, actually.
Yeah.
It's like she was kind of, it's not like she was badly played, you know. I'm a bit of an Anne Hathaway fan in general, but it's like I didn't think they did enough with that character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
she was just kind of there.
Brought her in at the end of the trilogy there. I suppose they didn't have much chance, but even so, yeah, I know what you mean.
I think, yeah, there was too much going on in the rest of the film to really properly characterize her. And it's like, you still kind of get that duality in her, but it's just not as exploited as I think it could have been. But it never really felt meaningful. She just happened to be there. And is for some reason a badass.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she was supposed to be a badass or if she was supposed to just be cleverer than everyone. Do you know what I mean?
In terms of thievery, yeah.
Yeah, because she doesn't really convince as a badass. You know, she's not like... You know,
she hasn't got the conviction in her of her motive, has she, really, most of the time. But when she fights, she can fight, for some reason.
Yeah. Well, she's got those ridiculous razor heels of doom, which are kind of cool. Yeah. And she seems to be able to lift her legs really high above her head like a gymnast or something, which I suppose kind of makes sense.
And she knows how to ride Batman's bike immediately.
Well, the key thing about that was like having a bum in the air for like 20 minutes or something, wasn't it? That's what that Batpod stuff was about.
Oh,
I mean, that bike looks like impossible to actually drive with those wheels like that.
How do you tell the wheels to go horizontal like that?
It's about to just be like a jet fighter, isn't it? Where it's just like all computer.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like inherently unstable and controlled by computer. Because presumably, if you were trying to lean on the thing, you would be tilting on that because it's like a square cross section on those wheels, isn't it? So it doesn't like smoothly tilt. Like a normal wheel, like a motorbike.
You'd be going up on like the edge of the tyre, basically.
Yeah, so you have to like lean really hard to get up onto the edge of the tyre if you're going around the corner.
Yeah, the computer would have to detect your lean and then amplify it somehow.
Exactly, yeah. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I did find myself thinking that to myself. Oh yeah, those fat tyres don't make a lot of sense for a bike that's supposed to go fast.
I mean, they made sense in The Dark Knight because it was detached from the side of the tumbler.
Yeah.
Didn't it? But I didn't see the other tumblers in this film get bat pods, like, appear out of the side of them, which would have made sense. The kind of weird military tumblers. With that weird-looking gun.
Tank gun.
Thing.
It looks like it should be on the side of a cruiser or something from a space epic.
Yeah. I think that split no front axle thing is probably not good in the face of like IEDs or any kind of actual threat to the vehicle.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it would be because you'd only take out one wheel. The other three would still be good.
Yeah, maybe. Don't know. It's kind of the opposite of what because in real military vehicles they have like a V shape on the bottom now to direct the blast up and around the sides of the thing, and the wheels get taken off, right?
Up and into the face of the occupants.
Well, no, to the side of the occupants. So the V is like down.
Yes, it's not pointing up in the middle.
Like a hull.
Filter it for smoking into the middle of the vehicle.
No, it's a hull.
The car is fine. The people.
Yeah, it's the modern way.
So on the subject of Batman, and let's try and direct this
towards the topic.
I have picked up Arkham City as part of the Steam sale.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Steam sale. News!
That's not news, because it's over.
Well, it's been gone, but yeah, what did you get in the Steam sale? It's the thing.
I got...
Like, how much abuse have you...
I only bought those two things. I think I managed to hold out, so I got Max Payne and Alan Wake. So I'm going to just do those back to back.
Yeah. There were a few things I sort of looked at that are kind of on my I'm intrigued by list, but given my backlog, I couldn't quite justify it all.
You're never going to make anything ever again.
That's the trouble. I almost bought Jade Empire Special Edition, because when the Steam sale ended, it was on daily deal for like £2.50 or something. But then I thought, well, that's going to take like 40 hours or something. It's really old. And I already own it. Yeah.
It's like the big long games are stuff I may have to try and avoid for a while. But it's to try and catch up.
That's the thing. I was
Legend of Grimrock and Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet when they were cheap.
Ooh, what's Legend of Grimrock?
It's that weird, like, first-person Dungeons & Dragons style thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a. Do you remember really old dungeon crawlers, like back in the days of early PCs and stuff? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but you view it from the first person perspective, and you only really see a maze in front of you, and it's
you don't like see your characters even.
It kind of
like stats.
Yeah, it's pretty much one of those, and it kind of plays exactly in the old sort of throwback style. But apparently, there's some actually legitimately good puzzles, and it's got modern graphics. Weirdly,
well, sort of modern,
semi-modern,
as modern as it can be for a sort of not very,
Indie-ish.
I don't know if it's indie-ish, but I don't know. It's like, it's not massive.
But anyway, people have sort of basically said, you know what, this is why these games were actually pretty good.
And also on sale this weekend is 10% off Borderlands 2 now that it's finally actually available to pre-order on Steam.
Seriously? When's that out?
September.
Oh, that's ages. Well,
I know.
It's still fucking ages. It's been ages for like this whole year.
I'm in two minds about it because I can't. Given my car woe at the moment, I'm a bit reluctant to spend most kinds of money. In fairness, but it's and it's like, well, okay, Borderlands is going to be one of those epic games I could probably play. It's not really going to be time related, so I could dive in at any point. Maybe wait for like a Game of the Year edition or something, or
well, yeah.
And then if you want me to play Guild Wars as well, there's like from launch, then that's gonna. I've got to make a decision there. And it's in the same bracket as Halo 4, I think. Like Halo 4, I think comes out in September.
Oh, in the timings. It's interesting how gaming graphics nowadays.
Like September.
Well, no,
it's not probably it's
COD is November.
But nowadays it's not like, I have to play this now because if I play this in like half a year's time, it won't look as good because other new games will look better. But that doesn't happen so much anymore.
No, because we're near the end of this console cycle, everything kind of bunches together in terms of fidelity, unless it's sort of PC centric.
I guess. Yeah, I suppose. But even on the PC, like Crysis 2 probably looks pretty awesome, and that came out like ages ago.
Yeah, that engine is probably impressive though in terms of efficiency.
Yeah,
it does a lot of stuff very nicely.
But yeah, that was a dumb thing about the Steam sale, that I was constantly tempted to buy games that I already have or played through more than once because they're like £2, and why not? In case I want to play Knights of the Old Republic again.
I wonder if the original devs actually get any of that money on games that are that old, if you know what I mean, in some cases.
Well, they must get something.
Well, yeah, in the case of Knights of the Old Republic, it makes a bit of sense because, BioWare's still about.
Yeah.
But... for some of
it's just the publishers.
For some of the older ones, like what happens to the original Deus Ex, for instance? Where does the money for that go? Presumably, it doesn't go to Ion Storm. It must go entirely to Square.
Yeah,
you haven't listened to like the most recent podcast where there was an exact email about that question.
Oh, really?
Oh, right.
And they were like, actually, it probably all goes to like credit agencies or whatever. If the company has gone under, where they're still paying off debts or whatever, it has to go to someone.
No, I guess maybe. So basically, it goes to bastards.
Yeah, that's sad. I hope that some of the Deus Ex people get monies from when people buy the original one on Steam somehow.
Should really.
Oh well, if you've got that on your CV, you're pretty okay. I think you probably get hired.
Not if your Metacritic score isn't above 85.
Oh god, yeah. What were they saying? They had a nice little list of games that didn't make 85. That like Mirror's Edge, like Fallout New Vegas, all these awesome games.
Yeah. Some ridiculous job advertisement that was like, and you have to have had and released a game where your Metacritic was above 85. If it's 84, no, fuck off. And that's the worst hiring technique ever, clearly.
The thing is, it's probably not that strict. Like, if you came in and you'd worked on Mirror's Edge, they probably wouldn't. Well, they definitely would consider.
Yeah, there'd be some named games, so there'd be like. It depends if they were using it as a metric, like for their HR staff or something, who might not actually be game savvy or something, and just sort of go by it. It's like, right, filter it out by this, that'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a guideline. I mean, the thing where the Metacritic score actually matters is when you've made the game and you release it, and then publishers get pissed off if you don't get high enough ratings because it gets on Metacritic, because it gets harder to harder to merchandise. What's it called? Market your game. Yeah, not merchandise. Although it probably gets harder to merchandise as well.
Yeah, probably.
What you mean? Because they want that stupid tagline on the box somewhere that says
exactly. Yeah.
But I thought they'd normally go to actual quotes for that kind of stuff rather than a Metacritic score.
Yeah, but it's a lazy, easy thing to say. Oh, you didn't make 85 on Metacritic, therefore. But it's a good excuse for them to like restructure shit.
But I thought things like Mirror's Edge and stuff actually sold pretty good.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose, but
that was ages ago anyway, when Metacritic didn't matter as much.
I don't know. Was it that long ago?
If anything, I thought Metacritic meant more prior, or at least it was more useful for like me. I don't really trust it anymore.
Well, maybe it was just like...
Well, they fucked up their site
less
design.
people knew about it, so people didn't care about it at the time.
Yeah. It's weird how with films there's kind of a hybrid thing where you've always got Metacritic listed alongside Rotten Tomatoes as the two aggregators.
Yeah.
And then in gaming it's just Metacritic.
Well, I think Rotten Tomatoes is usually pretty good. Usually.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because, for some reason, in film land, they seem to... It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to enjoy the film, but it's sort of like from an appreciation of film standpoint, those scores are pretty good.
Exactly. They score... Like Roger Ebert always scores his films against other films in kind of similar genre or whatever. So when he gives, like, Ted 3 stars or 3.5 stars out of 4, he doesn't mean it's like comparable to The Godfather. It just means it's a really good comedy. But it becomes difficult with computer games and stuff. I mean, there's a trend nowadays, like with Giant Bomb and stuff, to not be super specific with like percentage scores anymore. But it still seems that in video gaming, there's definitely a tendency to have, a much more fine-grained scoring system than in films or books, where it's always out of 5 stars with no half stars.
I think it's my sort of like, I don't know, I think as our taste for games and entertainment on the whole is maturing, it's like I no longer think a score is a good way of saying it. I'd rather I'd rather almost go by a Rotten Tomato style rating system where it is either yay or nay, and it's like because the yay or nay is kind of a bit more clear cut in how you kind of feel about it, and it's like.
But you're not really
because at the end of the day,
any...
basically, should I or shouldn't I? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And the Rotten Tomato kind of like when you read through the reviews and they either give them a yay or a nay, basically, it's like rotten or fresh, isn't it? It's like I kind of appreciate that more.
Yeah, but then how are you going to tell who's going to say nay to Mass Effect 3, even if they hated the ending? Like
no, you wouldn't.
Yeah, but then you've got like 100% rating basically from all the major publications on Mass Effect 3, and you could never distinguish that from.
I don't know. I kind of think that's fine. If you should play a game, if it's generally well received, that's probably all you really need to know.
Oh, okay. So you just have a list of yays and nays on games.
Yeah. Well, actually, in fairness, the kind of tomato meter. If you were going to attach a score of how many people said yay to how many people said nay,
yeah.
That's probably a more reliable score than a critic probably trying to attach some arbitrary value to it. If you see what I mean. I think that's probably a more reliable scale than, well, hey, PC Gamer said this, and it's or, well, hey, Eurogamer said this, and 1UP gave it a B, or something. It's...
Yeah, because it's weird how it becomes a really big deal when Eurogamer gives, Uncharted 3 like a 7 or something. Suddenly that becomes like a massive deal. Or an 8, I think they gave it, and people were pissed off.
10 out of 10 from Edge. Fuck you guys. 40 out of 40 from Famitsu.
Yeah. They don't matter anymore, do they, Famitsu?
No, unfortunately.
Like the whole of Japanese gaming. Well, no, not really. I didn't realise that, the new Western Devil May Cry they're making?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's being made in Cambridge. I didn't realise that. Ninja Theory is in Cambridge, apparently. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Rob...
Cambridge is totally Ninja.
I think we're moving offices, annoyingly.
What?
So I might not be able to come and have lunch with you in central Cambridge, which would be irritating.
What?
And it's really pissing me off.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah, I know, it's
where
really
are you getting moved to?
Well, there's some, massive, awesome-looking, tech science park type thing. It's not the science park. It's on the west of Cambridge, where the Cavendish, the physics lab is.
Right.
But it's, super plush, It's kind of like the Google campus, or whatever, but it's not.
Wait. So how are you actually going to get to work from now on? Because you walk to town, don't you?
Yeah, I walk.
That's like double distance, surely now.
Yeah, double distance. So basically,
that's like an hour.
Yeah, it'll be an hour's walk, or I'll probably have to buy a bicycle, or try and get some buses or something. But it's really
would the Milton Road Park and Ride, the green buses, do the job?
Why the fuck are you talking about this?
Well, they go to the centre.
Yeah, you're probably right. Just anyway, that's a shitty position to be in.
Anyway, yeah, it's pretty lame. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if there are any video game devs out on that side. There are video game devs in the science park, like the Jagex are in the science park.
Yeah, I'm working with someone who's ex-Jagex now. But...
And I think Frontier are in the Collectibles guys. They're in the science park as well, I think. So, yeah, but I don't know about West Cambridge. But maybe they'll be, because it's an empty building, so maybe some developers will move in.
Wait, I actually know 2 ex-Jagex guys now.
Yeah, I know. It's a crazy Cambridge software community where everyone knows each other. And the guy that made Viva V. He's around somewhere, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, where were we?
Steam sale. So I picked up Crisis, the Crisis collection in the Steam sale, because I've always kind of thought, but I tried Crisis 1 before, and I don't think I really got a good feel for it, because it's supposed to be pretty good, but it's I didn't get a good feel for it because my system at the time wasn't powerful enough, so I thought I'll give that another go. The whole franchise is cheap, and I kind of want to see Crisis 2 for myself, because it looks, what I've seen of it running on a comparable machine to mine is pretty.
Indeed.
So even if I just play it for pretties, that's probably going to be enough for me.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
I get nervous running these graphically intensive things in this heat. It's like, is my computer going to explode?
That's why you always have your little desktop thingy to tell you what your temperatures are.
Yeah, no, I do have that, but yeah, I don't trust it. Well, no, it's not the readout. It's just I don't know. It makes me feel. It definitely sounds louder. I don't even have fans that change speed, so it can't be louder. Maybe it must just.
Well, your graphics card fan up.
No, it doesn't anymore because I changed
you fix it in the
AI fix it, so it's. But it's always
wise.
Well, it's always really cool. It's a lot cooler than it was, with the previous cooler, because it's much more efficient cooler. But yeah, I can't remember what temperatures I get. It's 60 odd, even when on the maximum. Mine
is currently idling at 56.
Yeah.
Mine's idling at 65 because it's always too goddamn hot in my room.
Yeah, you're in the sauna of that house. So yeah, I picked up that. So I picked up the Trine collection as well.
Oh yeah, we had to get Trine 2.
Yeah, because Zach's always wanted to play that through. And
I should have bought that. That's really stupid. I was tempted by that. Damn it. Anyway, never mind.
Well, we have got a 4-pack of Nexius to.
Oh, that's true. We've got Next Wiz.
Nexus or Next Wiz, as Kipper's Fort it said.
Oh, and didn't you get me Splinter Cell? I don't know if I'm even going to...
I did, yes.
When am I going to play that? But yeah, thank you very much.
That was just you're the Splinter Cell guy out of all this. And that one has some interesting artistic direction in it, and it was just well, if anyone's going to play it, it's going to be you.
That's probably true. I didn't really enjoy the demo, but maybe it'll get better. It had quite good reviews, I seem to remember.
Yeah, even if it does sound like it's a bit more action than stealth, but...
Yeah, I'm more of a stealthy thing, but I'll certainly give it a go.
Trine 2 we had to get because it was following on from Magicka, basically.
Yeah, fair enough.
The epic team of getting Kippers in there for complete retardation.
Oh my god, that was so funny. We actually got a 4-player game of Magicka going, and it's bonkers.
Awesome.
It's so funny, because you just end up killing each other all the time. Especially when I just have to use all the big powers, and then they just kill everything and everyone.
Better eyes.
Lightning.
That was dumb.
Lightning everything. Crash the desktop.
I think the best thing about it was right near the beginning where Kippers was using the Tron cloak, where if he gets hit with water at all, he just dies. It made it extremely difficult to keep anyone alive because Kippers would just constantly randomly explode.
I had to get the detective cloak out because that's kind of cool because you just have a pistol. Bang, 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 bang. Does shit all damage, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, that game is cool. Even if we still haven't finished it. It goes on for longer than I expected.
Is it really long?
It sort of kept breaking anyway.
I don't think it was long.
It's not that long, but it just takes a while, because if you fail, you tend to go back quite some distance sometimes.
Oh, right, okay.
And it's, but you don't really ever feel bad about retrying it, because it's just such a laugh.
Awesome. That's what you need.
Yeah, it's a brilliant game.
Well, it's brilliant apart from its fucking...
Well, we have lag issues as well, yeah. In fairness, our connections aren't great, and it's peer-to-peer.
You can't say that. It's like 300 ping between just peer-to-peer for us. That shouldn't happen. It's not like we have problems here. It's like my ping on this server at the moment on TeamSpeak is like 44.
Yeah. I think it'd be worth reevaluating when we get when one of us gets super fast.
Oh man, have you heard about this?
I just think it's magic as netcode.
Do you hear about this Google Fiber thing in Kansas City in America?
What, sorry? Finder thing?
Google are entering the ISP market in America. And
really?
They're offering gigabit speed in Kansas City.
Wow.
Fiber. Yeah, and they're also offering 5 megabit for free. $0 a month.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a shake-up.
Presumably there's a setup cost. But yeah.
Yeah,
there's the setup cost of having to live in Kansas City.
Well, they're going to roll it out. I don't know. It'll probably be years upon years before it gets here, but it is quite... But yeah, gigabit, that's ridiculous.
Well, isn't that the same thing that they have in Seoul?
Yeah.
I thought Seoul had pretty much free gigabit and free Wi-Fi citywide.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So yeah, that could be the future of...
But you know for the fact that's not going to ever roll out in Britain for like 50 years.
I don't know about 50 years.
Well, it's taken them so long to get the fucking fibre network out.
Yeah, but I mean, if anyone's going to do it... Because the thing is, Google benefit like heavily from just more people using the internet and more traffic, and everything helps them because of all the search and advertising, and because they have a good stranglehold on stuff, don't they? So it kind of benefits them, even if it's not, because they already have a fiber network, right? And they must have a similar one in other. They must have good infrastructure globally, not just in America, right? To be able to do all the, like, they must have data centers here for doing.
Oh yeah, sure.
Indexing on the web and stuff, and that must all be hooked up with fiber. So they must have a good network that they can expand on. You know, stuff.
Yeah, it's an intriguing move. I want to see how it happens really, because presumably they have to juggle somewhat with the actual. Depends whether they're running on their own network or if it's juggling. Presumably they have to juggle with network wholesalers. Like, you know, getting past BT might be tricky in this country.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see what happens. But it was interesting news anyway. And you can see, and Google have a lot of clout, like, politically, because they're such a massively successful company. Yeah, so that helps, I think. If it's like Google come to your town and say we're gonna give you awesome internet, then politically it's a bit bad for mayors or MPs or whatever to be like, no, fuck off Google. We'll be like, yes, give us your awesome service.
Speaking of which, Nexus 7s.
Yeah,
kind of impressed.
I want to see one.
For the price, they're a really neat bit of kit. You know, for only, it's 140 quid, something like that? I think it is, maybe like that. You get...
No, it's 160 for the 8 gig.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Yeah, sorry. But even so, that's a damn good price to come in at. I mean, you're talking more than half an iPad.
Yeah, I like the idea. I want to actually see one, but you've seen one, right?
Yeah, I've seen it in action. It's not too bad. I'm still not a massive fan of Android, to be honest. It doesn't feel polished, but you can do some neat stuff.
You can customize it more, can't you?
Yeah.
It's like the kind of Windows versus Mac OS X, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah, for heavy geeks, or if you're planning on using it for experimental purposes, I suppose it's probably a good purchase. And the form factor is quite neat for traveling.
Yeah.
Probably more so than the iPad, I guess. The form factor is kind of nice if you're more inclined to just whip it out in a pub or something. Or
yeah, I think so.
The iPad's kind of a tricky thing to whip out.
Yeah, it's kind of a statement, isn't it, when you whip it out on the train or whatever?
We're doomed!
The iPad.
Check this out, bitches.
Yeah. actually thinking about it, the kind of messing around, hacking around with stuff, I'd be much more tempted to do it with a tablet than I would with a phone. Like, I don't want to be hacking around with my phone. I was never tempted to jailbreak my iPhone. I need it. Whereas, like, a little Android tablet, I could probably try and make stupid games and shit on it and stuff. I don't know.
Mess about a bit.
Yeah, mess about with it. Why not? If it's only 160 quid's worth of thing as well, if you brick it, it's not like the end of the world.
Not an epic loss, no.
Yeah, it'd be bad, and you could probably save it, right? It's probably quite hard to brick an Android tablet compared to a...
Well, presumably, unless you're doing shit with the ROM, then the actual... Unless you're rooting it.
Yeah. So I'm all pro, except my only thing is that I just don't have need for a tablet at all. So, like, no matter how good they are, it's like...
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure I really had a need for my iPad, but I found needs.
Oh, I see.
Have you?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I sit in front of the telly with it out, like, doing things, and it's...
Exactly. I don't do that. I don't have a TV, so I don't do that. That's literally the use case for me, would be if I was sitting in front of a TV and I needed to look up something on Wikipedia or something, I'd grab the tablet and search for it. But I never do that because I watch on my TV at my computer, so I could just open the web browser. I don't have that use case because I don't have a normal living room situation.
I'll load things onto it. I've started reading the Bleach manga on it and things like that, which is kind of cool. So I'll download a few chapters or something and read that when I was doing the bus and stuff like that. I've read stuff on the train with it, and it's... I don't know. I'm finding uses for it, and I don't regret any part of purchasing it. It's an awesome bit of kit. It's like the bedtime reading thing. I'm turning into a right old couple here. It's like I will do that. I will sit in bed with my iPad out reading things.
We should have got a Kindle or something.
Yesterday I bought a Kindle.
No, but I don't read books. Come on, it's still me. But I will read like articles and things like that, and
because I've been reading articles and stuff on my iPhone before I go to bed, and I've started realizing that I don't really like having a bright screen before bed.
No, it's a shit way of doing it. Well, actually, in which case you might not like the iPad unless you sort of turn it down, I guess. But
so the
iPad's really bright.
So I bought a Kindle yesterday, so I've been trying it out.
Ah, cool.
Just this morning and stuff, fiddling around with it, and so I'll let you know how that goes. But so far I
love the tech in Kindle though. I love that. Just the concept of e-ink sounds great.
It's really nice to look at. And I just bought the basic one without the touch thing, having tried both. And my brother has the basic one as well, and he recommended the basic one, and so I'm just going with that. It's smaller and lighter actually than the touch one, and I'm really liking it so far. I've managed to hook up my Instapaper thing. It seems to work okay. It gives you I've set it up to give me a daily transmission of all my saved Instapaper articles, and then so that way, if I'm browsing the internet and I see some article that I want to read, but I don't want to read it now because it'll take a while and it's on this bright computer screen, then you just press save, and then when you come to, when you go to bed or whatever, it's already on your Kindle to read on a nice e-ink screen, which is kind of nice. And obviously,
I mean, there have been other cool things, like now Chrome is available. Well, I say Chrome, it's not real Chrome, but it's WebKit Chrome. Available for the iPhone and iPad. There have been times where I've been in 3G only reception areas because I don't have the 3G or 4G version of the iPad, so I'll look something up on my phone when I'm out somewhere. And then tab syncing totally works, and it's awesome.
It does work, yeah. It is really cool.
I get in and it's like, why am I doing this on my phone? iPad.
Yeah. Oh, right, because it syncs between your Chrome...
It syncs between devices,
on your... Because I obviously, it syncs between Chrome on my desktop and my phone. Yeah. But you're talking about syncing between...
Well, I can do it between phone, iPad, desktop. I can do it everywhere. And
that's great, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I hope that Apple... they won't for a while, at least, but I hope they make it possible to change your default browser.
Yeah. So if they allow actual competing browsers on the system, that would be nice.
That would be nice, yeah.
What else do I get in the Steam Deck?
So anyway, tech, back to video games.
Yeah, Exuse. I don't know. I can't remember what else I got. I think I got something else, but I can't remember what it is.
Well, should we just talk about what we've actually been playing?
Yeah, that's been quite a lot of inane shit.
We've got quite a bit. We've got Zach's stuff, and then I've got Max Payne, and you've got Mass Effect. So we've got a bit. So let's start with Zach, shall we?
Dramatic silence.
What have you been playing? What you been playing?
I don't know, I'm trying to think of what I have actually been playing. I've played some more Settlers 2, of course. After I had that.
Up-to-date gaming news.
I've been trying to continue playing it because it's like... It's another one of those classic things sort of in the same vein as that I did with Still Cyberpunk, where it's like, I might actually be able to finish this game now because I'm no longer shit at video games.
Yeah.
But the trouble with Settlers 2 is it just takes fucking forever. It's like if you look at my save files, because it has an automated thing that sends you a message every half hour that says you haven't saved for half an hour, and then there's a button and you can just click it to save.
Oh, that's cool.
So my save files basically have half-hour increments, and I just overwrite the same save for each level. But it's like so this save is within half an hour of the end of this level. And if you look at like how the time on these saves, it's like 7 hours or 10 hours. It's like Jesus Christ.
per level, you mean?
Yeah.
How many levels are there?
There's like 16 or something. Or some number lower than 20. I don't know. There's a few.
Okay.
But yeah, it just takes so goddamn long to do anything in that game. Even with like where you can push the V button to have it be like double speed.
Yeah.
It still, takes bleeding ages for actually anything to happen. And you actually have to sort of have to play it slowly anyway, because there's only, you have to wait for like your military forces to get trained by having the gold come into the building, and all that kind of stuff.
The gold coins. And stuff.
Yeah,
and they
all that
take
transport
forever.
network.
Yeah, there aren't really. I mean, what modern games make you wait ages for anything to happen? I don't know. What's the most sort of slow-paced, gently paced modern games?
Yeah.
Tiny Tower.
That's like Facebook games don't count, or like Facebook games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's all I did in Settlers 2. Waited a lot. I think I'm on the second to last level now, if I remember rightly from the level list, even though I can't remember how many there are. So I might actually finish it.
It's because that game kind of does the same thing each mission, though, doesn't it? And then does the tedium not set in?
Well,
because you're doing the same thing each time, just in a slightly different place.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like there's any new technology or anything. You don't really unlock new buildings apart from right at the start of the game, but you get them all pretty damn quick. But it's like the levels are slightly different. I mean, like you get the levels where you actually have to have ships and stuff to transport to different islands, which is a giant pain in the ass because the ship system is pretty bad. Because what it does is like you can set up a dock and then you build a ship and then you send it out on an expedition to find another location you can build a dock. So that's how you can like expand onto islands.
Right.
But then once you've got these two docks, whenever basically the one dock that doesn't have any materials requires materials, it like sends out a call or whatever. But that call gets like. It immediately gets sent to all the boats. So basically all the boats will try and fulfill that call at the same time. So you essentially end up with like 3 times too much stuff if you have multiple boats.
Oh dear.
Which means a lot of the time it's like, these boats are all transporting 1 builder each to this island. And then they get there, and then like several minutes later when you're building something on the mainland, it's like, oh look, all these boats are taking 1 builder each back again. So yeah, the boat system is really inefficient, and you can't keep boats on like certain routes. So there was this one level I was playing where I had my mainland with its dock, and I had my first island with its dock, and that was like a pretty short route where it was nice straight open bit of water. But then I had to expand onto this other island where the only dock that I could find to build was like you had to sail all the way around this gigantic peninsula that my main base was on to get to this other dock. And it's such an epically long trip, my boats were just getting constantly like transporting 1 rock all the way around the coastline and like jamming up my other route because none of the ships were transporting to the other island. And it was like, god damn, this is really terrible. So I ended up kind of weirdly jipping that level by like once I'd got the dock on the island, so that because you can transport materials by like rowboat, Like, if the land masses are close enough together, you can build, like, rowboat routes that just act like the normal paths.
Oh, cool. That's kind of handy.
But you can't transport people like that.
What?
So you have...
So a guy, like, rows your stone or whatever from one side to the other and then just goes back.
Yeah. So I was like, so I had to set up this dock, get like 1 or 2 builders over there, then like build a normal storehouse instead of a dock, demolish the dock.
How do you get the builders over there?
Well, you do that's the first builders you do via the actual ships on the dock system. And then once you've done that, you can demolish the dock and have it in a storehouse instead, so your ships no longer transport to it. And then instead of sending people over there, you just send tools. So you make because you can make extra tools out of, metal, iron. You make the tools that are specific to each of the jobs, and then those can be shipped by the rowboat dudes into that storehouse, and then the blokes come. Then the storehouse is like, oh no, now we need a builder, so we better use this hammer and create a builder out of this storehouse on that continent. So it's like much more annoying, but somewhat significantly more efficient. But that was a weird level. I don't understand why that level was designed like that. I suppose I think technically I could have built like a dock on that north edge of my main continent, and then a dock on that island, and then it would have been like 10 feet apart. It would have been like the shortest boat trip ever. But I thought that was dumb, because then my boats also would have got distracted doing that instead of going to the island and then going all the way around that bloody coastline again. So yeah, I said fuck it, and solved it in a retarded way.
In a mysterious tool transport way.
Yep. So that's Settlers 2. Might finish that one day. Maybe.
One day.
We've waited
in another 10 years
for this.
Yeah, exactly. I never went back to Zero Cyberpunk again after I got to that level that I thought was broken. Where I was going to use the cheats to actually just get past that one level. I should probably do that at some point.
If you Google that game, what do you actually get?
Not much. There's like 2 videos of it on YouTube, which I was surprised about.
Right.
Well, I was like, holy shit, someone's made a video.
You should add some to your Hostile Waters video.
Yeah, exactly. My classic plan of like base jumpers, where it's like, I'm going to upload a video because no one else has.
Yo. I bet you've got tons of views on those Hostile Waters ones right now.
Not really. I think it was mainly just that. Well, it was weird because there was that one, the first one I uploaded, which was like mission free, which was a really boring.
The scavenger one.
No, that's the one where you just get attacked and you just have to defend, right? The dock.
No, it's one with the big radar dish in the middle of the level that you have to use the explosive.
Yeah, the level you're thinking was quite a lot later then.
Oh right.
Yeah, I guess it must be. But yeah, that video got tons of views, and then the video I did of like the last mission, a sort of tutorial-esque thing, didn't get nearly as many. I'm actually looking at my YouTube now to see if I can find out. It's like the last mission part 4, which is actually just the end sequence, has 1,500 views. But that mission 3 has 17,000 views!
Yeah!
Although it has been online for 2 years longer. And the base jumpers video has 1,400 views.
Yo.
So yeah, that's my YouTube channel. What else?
So yeah.
Really play Still Cyberpunk through an online window. Hang on, I'm just finding it classicdustgames.com.
Oh right, one of those things. I've heard there was a website a while ago people were messing around with that basically did NES games like that. Just in like in a web browser, it had basically every NES game. But yeah, the other thing, I just remembered one of the more important things that I should talk about that I played. Because there was another of the Guild Wars 2 beta weekends, the last one. Before they actually released the damn game. And as I said last time that there was a beta weekend, I needed to go in and actually do PvP. To see what it was about, because I hadn't done that yet. So I made sure to do that this time.
Cool.
So I jumped into the world versus world thing. And it basically it's incredibly similar in its sort of problems as Eve is, where it's just like it's all fleet blobs, where everyone just bunches up into a big bunch, and you never attack unless you've got 1 million more people than the other guys. It's the same problem that Eve has.
What, so you sort of stand around? If they're similarly sized lobs, you just sort of stand around?
Yeah. Or, well, I mean, there's probably a constant fight going on, but you never go anywhere.
Get anywhere, yeah.
and, like, with the attack and defense aspect of Guild Wars, where it's like you can, you know, one team is defending a tower or whatever, and you're up on the walls, and you can shoot down at people.
Yeah.
And then that, you know, I'm sure it might get a bit better once people start getting more used to and know how to use, like, the siege equipment that you can have on attack and defense. But it's just like those, and you're never going to. That's where you definitely need, like, a lot higher number of forces. You're not going to win that with equal force,
right?
Because they can just always they're basically invulnerable because they're standing behind a wall, so you can't easily target them, especially not with melee classes.
Yeah.
So they can always pepper you with arrows and shit. And magic. So you always need, like, an overwhelming force just to stand there and beat down the fucking door. And also it's kind of retarded, where it's just like, everybody run up and start wailing on this door! With whatever you've got. Just keep firing. And of course in Guild Wars 2, with its incredibly ridiculous, bright colours, flashy magic, fucking impossible to see what's going on all the time. And it has another element of, like, a similar problem to Eve of, like, in Eve you have, like, spider tanking, where, because remote repairers repair more than repairing yourself, because it's like it's obviously meant to promote teamwork.
Yeah.
But, so obviously what you got was, in Eve you have spider tanking, where it's just like, everyone in the fleet is repairing each other, in, like, a big network, and then they can obviously retarget onto whoever's taking more damage.
Mm.
And that's sort of the same problem with Guild Wars, except that it's just the fact that, like, any area of effect healing is going to hit so many people.
Yeah.
Because they're all in a big, massive big lump.
Yeah, they're all together.
And there will be several people using those same area of effect spells.
Yeah.
So it becomes really difficult to sort of make an impact. I mean, it's not to say that there isn't, like, opportunities for small groups of people to do stuff in Guild Wars, but it's the classic problem of, like, you could have, like, a small group go and infiltrate this small location and take it out, but chances are, like, several minutes later, a giant blob of enemies are just going to roll over it and take it back.
So you'll feel good for, like, 3 minutes or something, and then it's all wasted.
Until the enemy responds and then just roll over you again with a huge mass.
Because it's, like, a continuous thing, and not, like, a set of games like TF2, you can't be like, woo, that was a victory, because like, it doesn't mean anything unless it's a, like, permanent. It
does sort of count, because basically the way the World versus World scoring works is it's sort of on a countdown, and I think it's either every 2 minutes or every 5 minutes. When this timer expires, you score based on what you're holding at that moment.
All right, okay.
So in theory, it's like if you take it off the enemy and then the score goes through and then they take it back, at least you scored once.
Yeah, you've actually gained something. Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, that was a bit weird. But yeah, I actually still didn't do that for very long, because I was just like, oh, it's kind of like Eve. And then I had a perfect analogy, so I left. And then continued to go back to see the other two races.
I've got this figured out. I'm done here.
Have you got any good ideas about how they should do PvP in these MMOs that would in a different way?
Not really. I mean, that's been such a big problem for EVE for so long that they've constantly been talking about how we want to promote smaller fleets and, like, hit and run tactics and stuff. But it's just fucking difficult to do.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's the whole problem. It was the classic problem with EVE, where it's like, where they had to do all that specialized server architecture, and now they're doing that time dilation thing, just where it's like, no matter what you do, everyone is just going to keep massing up into bigger and bigger fleets, because the only way to defeat people is to bring more people.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay.
So, yeah. That might be interesting. And obviously, hopefully it should help in Guild Wars 2 that they have the idea that the servers are going to get matched against each other over time, where it's like servers that win will go up against other servers that win, which will presumably mean that the servers with the most population will end up fighting servers with loads of population. Mm. So it'll be equally sized giant blobs of dudes. Which might make things a little more... I don't know, maybe once you start getting enough people, you can actually split up, because presumably there is sort of a critical mass, where it's just like, You're not going to beat this door down very much faster if you just pile everyone onto it. You might as well have some other people going off and do other stuff. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But I tried out the other two races of Guild Wars 2 as well.
Okay,
the plant dudes and the little elf guys. I don't know what the hell they're supposed to be.
Okay. So what?
But the plant guys are pretty interesting.
Okay.
I read an article about it on...
Are they like Triffids or something?
Well, no, they're just like dudes that are made of plants.
Like poison ivy or something.
Yeah, basically, that was the comparison that Rob made. But there was an article about it on Rock Paper Shotgun as well, where they were talking about it almost sort of goes immediately against your expectation because you automatically think that plant dudes are going to be like super hippies.
What, you like Karmarama farmers or?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're all going to be like protect the environment bitches, but they're not really. They don't. It's just like
you can have a flamethrower.
Yeah, you can totally be a fire elementalist as a plant dude. That sounds like a perfect plan. Set all the shit on fire.
There's a game here on this classic DOS Games website called Corn Cob 3D.
I bet it isn't that 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't much on here that is.
But the other thing about the plant dudes is like their weird storyline, where it's just like, apparently they exist in this weird like dream world when they're like part of the giant tree thing that gives birth to them at some point. You know, while they're in like a pod or something, and they exist in this dream world, and they don't actually know what the real world is, and then they just wake up in the real world and are like, okay, right, let's go and do this. They seem very unflustered by this whole turn of events.
So they're
like, oh, now I'm in the real world, I guess, so I'll go and fight some things.
Are they that different, though, the real world and the dream world? Maybe the dream world is like the Matrix. It's like almost perfect preparation for the real world. It's like,
well,
right, now I'm trained.
There's a giant dragon made out of plants, I guess.
Breaking news!
There probably will be some more giant dragons made out of plants.
Oh snap, breaking news.
Yeah.
There's been a Pinball Arcade update while we've been on the air.
Oh good.
Woo! They are now pushing the creature from the Black Lagoon table. I have no idea if it's any good or not. I haven't played it yet, obviously. And it now supports Game Center.
Interesting ones.
Sounds familiar, that one.
Yeah, I think that might be semi-famous.
Yeah, they still haven't done the Twilight Zone update, though. They have the license for that now after the Kickstarter thing. But... Breaking news!
So anyway, back to Guild Wars. I don't know, what else? The plant dudes, they have a really weird... Is the fact that they just like wake up into the world and then just function perfectly normally is kind of strange. And the other thing that I told Rob about was because they come from this dream or whatever.
Yeah.
Like one of their generic bits of sound effect that you know when you're talking to a merchant or whatever, and it just has like the generic greeting. One of their generic greetings is like "Follow your dream."
Follow your dreams.
Which yes. Whenever I hear that, I'm just like, the Cartman voice is going in my head.
You can meet your good and live free.
So yeah, that was funny and annoying. And they say that like all the time. Follow your dream and seize the moment. That's what they're all about. And exploring, apparently. That's their big thing. They want to see the world and are intrinsically fascinated by all these weird races that aren't made of plants.
I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's like the kind of Star Trek mentality.
Yeah, I guess. And then you got the Asuras, the little elf dudes who are all about making robots and and constant malfunctions. Okay. Naturally.
It's not a bad motivation either. Oh, well, we were all about, like, just making robots. And
their city is pretty fucked as well. It's just like a giant, like... I'm not sure if it's actually floating, but it's clearly very big, whatever it is. But it's like a giant rock pyramid that leads up to the top, like an open plaza at the top. And then there's like a giant cube of rock, which is like the council chambers that floats above the top of this pyramid thing. They're all about floating and teleportation, obviously.
Cool.
But that city is really dangerous because there's like no barriers at the edge, so you can just totally fall off.
Awesome.
Not that it matters if you die in town, but it's pretty. I was like, wait, there's no barrier here. I can just totally jump down there. I wonder what's down there. Oh wait, I just died.
Awesome.
4 damage. That is actually pretty funny. Oh, and the other thing to do with fall damage, segueing casually into that, is one of the new things that they've introduced into the maps that wasn't there in the previous beta. They've introduced the idea of vistas, which are like, scenic flybys of interesting scenery.
What, so you push a button when you're near it and it gives you a dumb flyby?
And it does like a scenic flyby.
Nice.
But those are always, 90% of the time, they're like basically at the end of a jumping puzzle. So you have to how do I get up there? I have to climb this dodgy bit of scenery. So it's like this weird new sort of puzzle element to the game, of weird jumping puzzles. Because now you can jump, I guess.
Okay. It's quite unusual for an MMO, right?
Well,
jumping
it's sort of unusual for an MMO to embrace it. It's like World of Warcraft, you can jump, and that causes nothing but trouble, because people are always getting out of the level and stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
Or were. I mean, obviously, they fix things over time.
Over 8 years, they've...
But in Guild Wars 2, it's almost intentional, where it's like, this almost doesn't look like I should be able to climb up here, but I can.
Yeah.
By sort of dodgily exploiting the system of jumping by skidding up this slope to get to this vista point. So yeah, that was kind of weird. And I think there was an even bigger jumping puzzle that wasn't actually a vista. It was just like, go up here and get a bonus, an achievement. In-game achievements.
Oh really? Okay.
Well, they had those before, but I didn't, I hadn't seen, now there's in-game achievements where it's like, I got one for climbing up this jumping puzzle, and then I went to look at the achievement list, and there's like, there's 20 of them. So there must be 20 of these ingenious jumping puzzles in various places around the world. Which is kind of neat and weird. But yeah, that's still Guild Wars.
Guild Wars is Guild Wars. News!
Although not very original Guild Wars. It's still Guild Wars 2. And then I'm trying to remember what else I played apart from that. I'm sure there was some other stuff. It can't have just been Settlers 2. I mean, Settlers 2 takes a long time.
We played some more Fez.
Yeah, that's true.
We played,
we didn't really play more Fez.
No, there was the problem. We got hit by the patch bug.
Oh no, and they said they're not fixing it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they basically said, to the 1% of people that suffer from this, and it's like, 1% my ass.
We are the 1%.
We are the 1%.
Exactly.
It's highly annoying. So our save is unloadable by the current version of the game.
Still possibly fixable, but it would require deleting Rob's entire Xbox cache.
Pretty much, which I don't really want to do.
No.
So, and we've got most of the way back to where we were. In fairness, we did like a few hours solid session, knowing what we know and.
Well, yeah, I mean, we didn't have to think about any of the puzzles, but we still haven't got that many cubes compared to where we'd got.
No, we had like near 50 before. We're like
30, we got all but one of the normal cubes.
But yeah, and of course we had some of the annoying ones before, like most of the clock ones. And
well, I don't know if the clock ones are that annoying. I mean, we did the jumping puzzle in Fez. That didn't take nearly as long as it did the first time.
The sort of Meat Boy inspired section. Yeah, we did that pretty quick. Well, it was like first proper run, wasn't it?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I'm on fire, bitches.
And then we had that stupid moment where it's like, wait, there's another door that comes out of that jumping puzzle.
Damn it.
We'd forgotten where it was, but luckily it was right at the bottom. So we're
doing that. We still haven't really learnt anything new since last time we played it.
We've discovered that black monolith thing.
Oh yeah, the monolith.
Fuck whatever that's about.
We don't know what the bloody hell that does. It's just there.
That was the first thing that was basically once we got the special thing that you get for finishing the game the first time. We were like, now this room appears to be empty normally, so we must have to go there and use this thing.
Okay.
And then we did. And then a black monolith appears and we're like, now what do we do?
Yeah, that was a bit more to it than that, 'cause it was like
in 2001.
Yeah,
kinda, yeah. There's like a symbol somewhere, and it kind of relates to something you have, and then from that you can discern what to do to
one of the maps
get this thing to happen.
Easy to it. Kinda. Yeah. So the black monolith came up, and then we were like, now you have to do something else apparently, because that didn't appear to do anything at all. Yeah,
that end game ability hasn't proved quite as useful as we were hoping.
No.
There's a few things we're still highly confused
and then
about.
we discovered that you could talk to owls. Fuck.
Spoiler alert.
Well, that may not be a spoiler, because had we ever tried that before?
Do you want to hear what I said again? Yes. No, wait, no! Ah! Damn it.
But yeah,
owls are important, man.
Yeah, and the trouble with that is that, of course, the owls only appear at night.
Yeah.
So you have to wait for the day-night cycle, and if you don't, like, spot them, if you don't happen to be passing through that screen when it's nighttime, you might not even know that there would be an owl there if it was nighttime.
They do make a sound, though. Top tip, they have a noise.
When they hoot at night. Yes, I guess. So yeah, we've got some more to do, I guess. Now, we've got at least one more lead to go on, the owls. After our endgame ability didn't prove to be as useful in as many places as we'd hoped.
As you were hoping, yeah. Oh well. There's got to be some mystery left. Quite a lot, I expect.
And of course, the impossible question.
Damn you, Ben Heck.
Security questions.
Yeah. And we played Team Fortress 2 some more, I guess, as we often do, sometimes.
Did we?
Yeah. And Battlefield 3, I guess, as well.
We played some Battlefield, yeah, I remember that bit.
We played some Battlefield with Kippers, who can't play Battlefield for some reason. Apart from his system crashing it all the time.
Yeah, it's not very
stable.
He had
a really good new system.
Yeah, it does, but it's just not very stable for Battlefield for some reason.
No.
And then
in fairness, mine isn't that stable for it, but mine's sort of calmed down over the last few patches, whereas Kipper's is just as bad as mine was.
And then Kipper's read a hilarious hint towards a solution on the internet, where it's like, what you should do is run Origin through Steam by adding Origin into Steam, and that for some reason will make Battlefield 3 more stable.
What?
I don't believe that for a second.
He was playing Battlefield last night, I noticed, because he was on Origin on Steam, and I was like, wait, that must mean he's playing Battlefield. But he didn't play for very long, so I didn't see what the result of that was.
I'm guessing not, if he didn't play for very long. Maybe it crashed.
Well, it was quite late. But yeah, we played some of that. That's Battlefield. And we played Team Fortress. That's Team Fortress.
Indeed. So,
not anything particularly interesting.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, I guess so. I seriously think there should be more stuff that I played, but I can't remember.
Did we actually do a news section?
Well, we talked about the Olympics, so I guess that was...
Yeah, it's kind of news. Did you hear they're doing news! There's, some, a new edition of a PS3 is rumoured.
Oh yeah, and they were going to announce
slim.
it at Gamescom, and then they said no, we're not going to.
Yeah, it's like it looked weird anyway. It's like I'm not sure if they'd ever do like the supposed leak was of a top loader,
right?
Variant. So it was like the old PS2 Slim, and it's
that was not bad. That PS2.
Yeah, but top loaders really.
Yeah, they're a bit weird.
They're kind of shit.
Yeah,
I'm prone to breaking.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's like, the PS3 is still a relatively, in terms of the console market, it's still kind of the pricier bit of kit. So unless the price went down with it,
maybe they figured out a way to make it cheaper.
Yeah, perhaps.
That might make a big difference for them.
Yeah, for Sony it will.
Yeah, but it must be hard.
Top loaders.
Yeah.
So if that's untrue, I'm kind of glad.
Your PS3 nearly ate a disc the other day, though.
It did nearly eat a disc, yeah. It sort of wouldn't give it back until I turned it off and on again. And then it gave it back.
I guess I might end up getting one of those then if I ever get a TV, because that's a good Blu-ray player, isn't it?
It is a good Blu-ray player. It's a bit noisy, but I imagine the Slim version the Slim version's pretty quiet. But
yeah.
My old one is pretty damn noisy.
We'll see about the Super Slim though. Maybe that'd be quieter again.
But it's not real, is it?
I don't know.
I thought you said it wasn't real.
Well, I don't know if I'd said that they're not announcing it at this
I see.
That they're rumoured, but maybe they'll announce it another time. But who knows? But they have to announce their new console next year, so they better...
Well, I'm not sure Sony will. 10-year plan.
Yeah.
No one believes in the 10-year plan.
Yeah, Xbox are going to, so... E3, so... Probably Sony will too. We'll do something.
That's only 11 months away.
Yeah, that's true. It's ages, but still.
10 months.
I heard they might have pulled back on that because that leaked document from 2010.
Oh yeah.
The Kinect having the version 2 having 2 cameras for stereo, which sounds like an awesome idea, but I think they might have backtracked on that because it seems like more recent documents might have leaked, which are less.
Well, current Kinect works pretty good, but they just need to give it more.
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps they worked out that actually we can just do Kinect with better cameras and it'll work better.
Because the other rumor was the kind of pluggable hardware thing, which sounds a bit crazy. Upgradable hardware. Like they're saying, one thing that they was in some of this leaked stuff that actually does make sense is that they have like separate processors for like the application level and the dashboard effectively. So basically you can do TV related, dashboard related, internet related stuff, and it doesn't affect the performance in the game because that's running on a different processor that's adapted. So probably I'm guessing that the application level one will run on like a mobile chip.
Yeah, I thought the PS3 kind of did that anyway, doesn't it? Because it dedicates one of its cell cores, I thought, to the OS.
Yeah, well I guess that's the equivalent, isn't it? Yeah. But they're talking about dumb things like, hey, play this sports game while you're watching the sports championship on TV, and play along.
You don't want to play along; you want to play it before, so you can predict the outcome.
Yeah,
use it to help with gambling.
Bring up your Prima strategy guide, only £15 while you're playing, and all this nonsense.
No.
That's what my tablet's for if I was going to cheat.
You preempted me there. Game facts. In my lap.
Exactly.
Lap facts.
That reminds me of something else I actually played.
Train.
Yes, a train. No, train didn't remind me. Game facts reminded me because
Railworks, 90% off.
Still $100.
Because I had to go to Game Facts again because I started playing Final Fantasy Tactics A2 again on the DS.
Dun, 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 dun,
I worked out where that music is as well because I was like, Rob, listen to the classic music that always annoys you, but it's in the shop rather than the units menu now.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because the units menu is that dun 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 dun.
The classics. But yeah, I started playing that again, and obviously I had to immediately go to GameFAQs and look up like the job list so I knew what jobs to get because the reason I stopped playing A2, I finished the game. I finished the story, and then you get like the post-story missions. It carries on for a while. There's extra missions beyond how many you need to do. But it got to the point where it was like when you complete this mission, you get a special unit that joins your squad. And that fucked up my whole plan, because I was like, I knew exactly who in my squad had what jobs, and it covered all the jobs really nicely. And it's like, no, we're going to force you to take this guy. So that really super pissed me off, which is why I stopped. So then I was like, okay, this time, I'll look up the job list, look up the special units in advance and see what jobs they have, and then I can not overlap. Plans. But that's going to be several tons of hours away yet, before I get to the point where that's actually going to matter. Don't know if I will actually continue playing it that long. But it's a good game.
Satisfied your itch already.
You probably play it while you're playing Settlers 2, right?
Well, maybe. So it is, as a DS game, it is, it's one of those games that I can theoretically do while doing other things, like listening to podcasts even, maybe. Because it's not that complicated, really. Or at least not at the start of the game, for sure.
Is it other fights things you can really drift in, drift out, or do you think you can do them what you have to do, like a battle in one sitting, or...?
Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. Or at least because it's sort of turn-based, you could always just, sit there for a moment. There's no time pressure.
No. I'm just wondering how easy it is, like DS Wars, to sort of pick up your plan if you go away from it for a while.
Well, I think in like tactics, it's probably a lot easier because there's not really you're not really making an advanced plan. You're not really planning ahead. You're reacting to what's going on at the moment.
That's cool. Because at one point I was thinking of picking up the War of the Lions version of Tactics for iPad.
Well, I don't know if that's going to be... Because that's supposed to be a lot harder. You might have more problems with that. I never did get round to actually playing that, really. I played it some, and then I stopped. And then I was like, oh shit, now I need to start over at some point.
Well, you were playing the original PSX version, weren't you? So.
Yeah. I never got far enough into it to get to any of the interesting jobs. Like calculators. So yeah.
The answer is 3.
Played that. That was the one. That was probably the one thing that I was forgetting.
Is it like so when you're a calculator? Do you like type random a random calculation in, and then the result determines what happens? So if the answer is 3, because it's a magic number, you get some magic.
It is a magic number. No, it's a bit more casual than that, because it's like the calculator class is all based on the terrain. Where it's like if you have like it's basically global magic, where it's like it hits everything that's lower than you, or it hits everything that's higher than you, or it hits everything that's a multiple of your level, or some combination of these things. So yeah, apparently calculators can be super devastating, where it's just like all you have to do is run to the highest point of the level, and then you can hit literally everything.
So anyway.
Is that the news section for a bit?
Well, yeah, we went back to the play section. Are you done? Can you think of anything else?
No.
Shall I do my bit? Because you've got Mass Effect, right?
Well, I'm not really sure how much I could talk about Mass Effect, in fairness, because we're still under the spoiler agreement.
Are we?
Well, Zach.
Zach needs to play it. Shit.
Yeah,
okay.
I keep forgetting to actually go and buy that, because it's like 20 quid or whatever off Amazon. I could totally easily get it for a cheap enough price now.
Yeah. You should do that.
You might be able to find it. If they have disc copies, you might be able to find it even cheaper. But
well, last time the disc copies were 20. But
oh, really? Oh, okay.
It might have come down more, because it has been a little while since then.
Yeah, well, it was 20 on Xbox when I picked it up, so...
Shall I talk a bit about Max Payne?
Max Payne!
Allow me to present Max Payne.
Maximum Payne.
New York's finest, with the highest mobster body count ever. So, yes, I've got Max Payne 3 in the Steam sale. And, booted that up on my PC. Runs a lot better than freaking Witcher 2, let me tell you. It looks really good. It runs fucking great. So it's Max Payne. It's the same voice actor, so it sounds like Max Payne. It's got the same theme and everything. There's a lot of cutscene going on. It's because it's Rockstar now, right?
Yeah.
So, and
not
and the
Reflections bag anymore.
Yeah. And it seems to be... very important to them to transfer from cutscene into gameplay seamlessly. That seems to be their thing. So it's like, and that might be why it's 35 gig download, because I think they've got all because the cutscene is all rendered in engine, right? But it is a full motion video, I think. So they've
I
the
found it
style.
hard to tell from what I've seen of the game so far. And it's like, and if it is like full 1080p video, then it's it's really well done, because it's 1080p at 60 frames per second, HD, proper full on well encoded video, and it's like, that does explain the size somewhat. Yeah, but
it is. It is a very smooth transition, because it looks very weird in some games. Like do you remember in Arkham Asylum, like how they have cutscenes that are in engine, but they look completely different because it's all lit weirdly and it's video. And it's badly compressed or whatever it is. But this, it's totally seamless. And although stylistically, it's like, well, I much prefer this, to be honest, to the sort of stupid comic book panels of the previous games, which I was never a big fan of.
Well, it made sense then, because it was more of a technical limitation, I suppose.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I mean, I like the style, but I wasn't sure about that way of presenting it. But yeah, so this is just like cutscene, but with the typical kind of Rockstar flourish on the character animations and stuff in the cutscene. It transfers directly into gameplay. But they do a lot of sort of trying to convey that Max Payne is a bit fucked up. They kind of have like a lot of weird camera effects,
happens all the time,
constantly. Yeah. These
these super
color swatch,
like these corgis.
Yeah, blurs and stuff. Yeah, a bit like the corgis in the Olympics ceremony Bond video. So so there's a lot of that. But they have this thing as well where they highlight words of dialogue in the that pop up on screen or whatever. And I thought that would get really annoying, but actually it only happens on really significant stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't happen as often as I was expecting.
Yeah, so that's
nice.
That's much better than I feared. I mean, they're a bit crazy with those effects, but it's not too. I mean, it does suit it because Max Payne was always completely over the top and crazy in terms of sort of stylistically. Like it was always like it was never subtle, was it, Max Payne?
No.
So it kind of fits. But then so it transfers into the gameplay. But I don't know about you guys, but when I get a new game, I'm always like when it like ends its cutscene and goes into and you finally have control, you want to kind of play for a bit so that you can, learn, what's effective and how to move around and what every button does and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But for this opening
area.
Yeah, the tutorial area. This kind of lacked that a bit. It was kind of like, oh, okay, now you're shooting dudes, and then almost immediately after, more cutscene, and it's like, I just want to get to a bit where I can, like, run around and, like, learn to play a bit. Yeah, so it in the midst of, like, setting up an interesting story and stuff, it didn't really give you a chance to, like, learn to play the game until a bit later, which was a bit frustrating, because it's like, on the one hand, I want to enjoy this introduction and everything, on the other hand, I want to, like, feel that when it transfers control to me and I'm in a room full of bad guys, I can actually deal with it because I know what each button does.
So does it come across as a bit of a trial by fire? Is it difficult because you're just there, and is it just an easy segment that's just a bit...
Yeah, exactly. It's easy. It's not a hard section because that would be really punishing. Weird, but it's just like, even if it's really easy, I still want to feel... Do you know what I mean? That I know how the game controls and stuff. Because I don't want it to be easy, really, if I'm shooting bad guys and stuff. Like, it feels a bit cheap if it's like, oh, I'm killing people and I don't really know how I'm doing it, or I'm not really, it seems to be a bit random or whatever, because I haven't quite got the controls down and stuff. Anyway, but after that first bit, you do get to learn how it plays. And obviously, it's different, given these years. It's a bit of a strange mishmash, actually. Like, because... Do you remember, like, when it switched from Max Payne to Max Payne 2, suddenly the shoot dodge was a lot cheaper on the bullet time. You have a meter of bullet time.
Free, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember it being free.
Yeah, maybe it was free. Yeah, so that's not true. So now the shoot dodge is like this massive deal. Like in Max Payne 2, you're doing it constantly, so it was like this crazy John Woo. But in Max Payne 3, it's like it uses a lot of bullet time, and it goes really slow and lasts ages. Like the dive lasts like 5 seconds or something, so you get to kill quite a few. So it's an awesome move when you do it, but you have to be sure that you're doing the right thing. So you end up not doing it very often. Whereas in Max Payne 2, it was like constantly, I'll get behind this pillar and then I'll shoot dodge. Constantly shoot dodging around.
I'll be behind the next one and then I'll shoot dodge.
Shoot dodge again. Yeah, and you quite rarely deployed the actual bullet time in Max Payne 2, because you were constantly shoot dodging instead. And I really enjoyed that over the first game because the shoot dodge was really fun, and I found it quite annoying that it was limiting you. But in 3, it's like, it's kind of cool because it's like you don't do it very often, but when you do, it's very dramatic or whatever. But you have to be sure that it's the right moment.
Yeah, I was about to say, because from what I'm seeing of the game, it can quite easily go badly wrong.
Yeah, it can go wrong easily.
Like if you accidentally sort of try and use it and you clip a wall at the wrong time, for instance, which actually sort of, at times, fairly convincingly stuns him out of the dodge.
Train.
But then, of course, you can sort of be in that stunned state. Well, there's a dude right in front of you.
Right
and then
there,
you're fucked.
Yeah, and it has like a last stand thing as well. Like when you're about to die, like kind of like in Call of Duty, it gives you
Well, as far as I can see, it doesn't happen all the time either. That it's pretty cool when it does, but it's just like it's kind of not every time will it give it to you.
So it's a question of what's the main flow of gameplay, and it's more like a standard shooter, I guess. But the shooting is really satisfying. Like when you actually hit someone, it really feels like the impact is like.
Yeah, they've gone for the high damage model.
High damage, yeah. And so you've got a cover button like Gears of War or whatever, like a standard third-person shooter now. So you can use that to, in the normal style. There's a duck button, there's a toggle, but when you use it, you go incredibly slowly, so it's like basically useless. So you can't like crouch around. Do you know what I mean? You can't
duck walk.
And there's a sprint button, but it doesn't seem to make me much faster either. So it's kind of strange. But so it seems to me that the rhythm is like, you move into a new area or something, and as soon as you see a guy, you hit the because you're going to get shot immediately, because so you hit the bullet time, and then you have to kill him and earn enough bullet time back that you haven't lost any in the interaction, ideally. You see what I mean? So, and even when you're behind cover, when you pop up, you get shot quite badly because you're exposed. So it tends to be like pop up, hit the bullet time, try and hit 3 people's heads or whatever, and then make sure you toggle off the bullet time so you're not wasting it. And then, because that becomes very irritating when you go into a new section and you haven't got any bullet time, it becomes quite a lot more difficult or just a pain, you know, because you can't shoot dodge either, obviously, if you've got no bullet time.
No.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah. From what I saw, the dodging actually uses quite a hefty chunk of your...
It uses a chunk. Yeah, and the only way to earn bullet time is by killing people, I think, and you don't get that much even on like normal mode. You don't even get that much ammo. Like, I've been running out of ammo in these early stages. I don't think I've quite figured out all the, you know, because you kind of have, you know, a pistol, and then you've got like, or Uzi, like one-handed weapons, and you can double them up, or you can have a rifle or a shotgun, which you can kind of carry while you're shooting with a pistol, which looks really cool.
I saw that. The animation for that is pretty neat, I thought, like how he sort of carries the gun in the other hand while...
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty hot on the animation in general of Max. Like, he has a lot of weight, kind of like in, you know, Red Dead or something, but now it's like a smooth movement rather than which it had to be, right? Because if that had maneuvered like L.A. Noire, it would have been a disaster. So they've kind of managed to marry the, like, snappy shooter controls to, like, a convincing character weight and movement, which is really cool and interesting. Yeah. And yeah, so I haven't played too much of it, but I've been quite enjoying the set pieces and the story. Like, there was a big shootout in a big stadium, which was kind of cool. Lots of nice little sections, you know, broken up with sniping sections, and I mean, in the first mission of the game, you end up, like, as they say on Giant Bomb, it gets ridiculous pretty quick. You're already hanging off a helicopter, shooting incoming RPG rounds, you know.
Sweet.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like crazy, and it looks great. But yeah. Are you thinking at this point in the game that Max should lighten up a bit? Not yet, but
that's what a lot of people say. It's just like, you know, most of the game is like him sort of going, mope, woe is me. Oh, I knew this would happen because I was there.
But it was always really
badly
mopey.
Because I'm there.
I don't know. Max Payne was always a bit like, and like, I had a sense of humor, but it was like a dark kind of. It wasn't Max that had the sense of humor, really. It was like the little weird TV programs in the world and stuff. Do you remember those? And,
I don't remember it being quite so mopey.
Maybe it was.
That's what people are saying. But
yeah, perhaps not. Well, anyway, I haven't got far enough for him to be like really pissed off yet. He seems to be.
Yeah. I thought I did think the screen effects were done a little much, like, because I've seen a section of the favela, and you're just walking around for a while, and it's doing it like every few seconds.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Like, maybe they should have toned that down. It's a little overdone.
Yeah. But like I say, Max Payne as a franchise was always a bit over the top, so I can see where they're coming from. But I kind of, like, I'm quite enjoying the change of pace, the Sao Paulo stuff. I mean, it's different.
It'd rather be over the top on content, I think, rather than on presentation, if you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Make the actual what he does over the top, rather
more
than
crazy.
Just make the screen fucked.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe a bit more hard-boiled in there. What was that game? Stranglehold, yeah. Bit more like running down,
sliding across everything.
Sliding across every table, running down banisters, wasn't it? And like
sniping while doing so,
sniping people in the face. Yeah, maybe.
As Chow Yun Fat,
obviously, clearly. But yeah, enjoying it so far. We'll get back to you. I mean, I've had a flashback section to New Jersey, and I'm hoping there's a few of those because I quite like the old Max Payne, just New York when in the snow, and this dirty kind of vision of New York.
Yeah, I'm surprised they moved away from that a little bit.
Well, I mean, they had to do something different, but I mean that vision is
well, no, but
compelling.
Did they have to do something different because it's been so long?
Well, I suppose, yeah, they could have just done a remake-y type thing. Like I was watching...
this isn't certainly even a remake. It's just like, we're going back to that setting.
That setting, yeah.
Like, after so long is going to feel fresh again. Like,
it is
modern wizardry.
It's a neo-noir, isn't it? New York City setting. It's really cool. I was watching Seven on the TV the other day, and it kind of is... They never name the city in Seven. So it's clearly...
Yeah, it's New York-y, isn't it?
It is New York-y, but like a horrible New York, basically. Like, that's really constantly raining and everything's falling apart. And it's there's a bit in that where Brad Pitt is chasing the killer through some apartment blocks and stuff. And it's basically the same as like that bit in Max Payne 2 when you're running from your apartment.
No, I don't know enough about Max Payne. I never actually played Max Payne 2.
Yeah,
fully.
But it's like a similar kind of theme here. I wonder how that game stands up actually, because you could probably get that super cheap on Steam. It's a good game, Max Payne 2. But anyway, I will let you know.
I have the PS2 version somewhere.
Oh, I wouldn't play it on anything other than PC, but yeah, I don't know. It seems a bit weird to put that. I mean, Max Payne 3 would be more of a console game. That would make more sense, because it's obviously developed with that in mind. I don't know about Max Payne 2. But yeah, but I'll let you know how Remedy have got on when I do Alan Wake after this. But yeah, I'll get back to you with more Max Payne next time. But yeah, good so far. I haven't played a shooter for a while, and it's quite satisfying to shoot at dudes. As as Jeff would say, shooting dudes.
As the core part of that game, you'd hope it would be good.
Yeah, the shooting dudes is good.
What do you think about the bullet death moment?
It's a bit weird. I don't tend to... I mean, it's cool.
There's been some complaints about being a bit of a weird stylistic sort of...
It's only weird if you make it weird. It's only weird if you keep hitting the button. Like, you don't have to continually pump the guy full of bullets if you don't feel like it. It's a bit unnecessary. But it's only gratuitous if you make it gratuitous. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just why did they give you that option if you don't? Yeah. It's like just have the last bullet. Surely that's dramatic enough.
I guess if some people enjoy that stuff, then...
but that's...
Don't know. But anyway,
Rockstar had... I suppose it's Rockstar. They had to do something mental.
I suppose. But as I say, you can just leave it and then carry on.
Don't do it, man. It's not worth it.
I'm wondering if it wastes your ammo, though. I can't really tell if it's like free ammo.
Because the HUD disappears.
Yeah, exactly. So I tend not to do it for that reason, because it's like, well, I'm running low anyway, I better not keep shooting, since this guy's already dead. Well then.
Recommend for now?
Well, I'll leave my recommendation, but I'm enjoying it so far. But I'll let you know when I've played a bit more. Right, Rob, what have you been playing?
Tiny bit more pinball. Not a massive amount. I haven't had much time to do much this week, in all honesty, so it's... But I did manage to finally clear Mass Effect 3.
Mass Effect 3.
And I've finished it with the extended cut ending.
Okay, so I haven't seen that.
Well, I've sort of done a bit of research on it as well and looked up like the normal versions of the endings and things like that, and it's like... I can see how the new one really sort of improves a few aspects, but I'm not entirely sure it's such a big deal that was made of it, if you know what I mean. I know people
that... big a deal of the extended cut, they made a big deal of the original.
Yeah, I know what I mean, but I sort of like, even knowing how the original plays out, it's like, I'm not so sure that it's really as bad as it's made out.
Yeah, that was my feeling, right? That's what I said at the time.
There's a couple. I agree. There are some points which are a little bit weird, and you're just like, wait, what? How did that happen? And why are they doing this? Like without it, which are definitely explained by the extra scenes.
Just clear up the weirdness.
Yeah, it's because it's not just the ending. As I say, that there's a lot of extra interspersed scenes, like from the Earth sequence onwards.
Okay.
Like, just right in the middle of you doing something, there'll be an extra bit slotted in that kind of explains something.
Is there any new gameplay in there, then, or is it just cuts?
No, there's no new gameplay, it's just extra scenes, mid-gameplay, basically. And there's an additional ending. I'm pretty sure Paragon and Renegade doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
That's no longer.
That's what annoyed people, though, right? And one of the things that annoyed people was that
that doesn't make a difference. It's pretty much like, this isn't spoiler territory here. It is pretty much choose an ending.
Yeah, dial an ending.
It's the Deus Ex thing, and with a certain amount, and even the Galactic Readiness thing,
Deus Ex, but,
and even the Galactic Readiness thing, or the the EMS or something that they refer to it as the. I don't know. I can't remember what that stands for. But the even that doesn't actually change that much.
Yeah, you get
in the endings
better versions of the same endings, don't you?
Very, very slightly, as far as I know, like incredibly slightly.
Well, my main thing was that I didn't get the Paragon option in the gameplay of the end sequence or whatever. So
this is the weird thing. I had all the options all the time during my playthrough. I could be as Renegade or as Paragon as I wanted. So I always got those speech trees.
Oh right.
Somehow I had both.
Oh, could you just choose them then?
Yeah, I never really had a problem. I just sort of just every time there was a choice like that, I had both options.
And they weren't great because it was greyed out for me. It was the only Paragon choice I ever had that was greyed out. Was right at the end. So you must have to be super goody two shoes to get.
Well, I was a super bastard.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah.
I never saw a greyed out option on either side.
And also, it forced me to do a Renegade option. Otherwise, I'd die and it's game over.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Because I couldn't choose. I couldn't choose the Paragon, and then immediately after that. There's 2 Renegade moments, action moments, and if you pass them both up, then you just die, and that's it.
Huh.
Yeah. Maybe the DLC changes that so you get more options.
Well, I don't know. I'm struggling to remember any real momentous Renegade moments. There's one.
I'm talking about. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for that, but this is Elusive Man stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. I think, I didn't realise... I don't remember pulling the trigger at that point.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm I can. There's some non-spoilery stuff I can talk about. Boss fights in that game suck balls.
Yeah.
It's they are so friggin' irritating. There's a section where there's something firing giant laser beams at you and you're on the ground with a target painter. That is possibly the shittest moment in the game.
Oh yeah, I know the bit. At the end of the quarry and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was terrible. I fucked that up
awful.
5 times or something. I was thinking, this is
I did it much more than 5 times. It took me fucking hours to do that.
It's like freaking Poison Ivy all over again, only worse. Do you remember?
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it was just... It's inconsistent. The giant death laser seems to sometimes, its tracking behaves weirdly.
You had to, roll at the right point.
Well, this is the thing. If you have to roll at the right moment to avoid it, but if you're walking in that direction before rolling, it tracks into your roll.
Yeah, so you have to, change direction and roll, I guess.
And I have had times where the tracking has just twitched. Yeah. At the end, weirdly, and it's just hit me. And I have been killed by when the laser has passed me, and there's nothing visible, and I've just died.
Yeah, it's a bit fucked up, that whole section. It's not
and
even
there are times where the laser painter doesn't seem to work, it goes to the tone, but then nothing happens. So it's right, I've got to wait for the next cycle and do it again, and then it happens. It's it's just shit. Yeah. There's no way. It's just a badly made section, and it's annoying because it's this epic fight going on in the background. The actual setting and the music and all that is really well made. It's just what you're doing is terrible.
Yeah, it is a shame. They could have just made that a sequence, and I wouldn't really have minded. No, you've done enough stuff up to that point in that mission to make it
it's fine.
Awesome.
Just sort of pull the trigger. That would done.
Yeah.
Humbug. Oh, and again, not a spoiler, I suppose, because you pretty much always know it's coming. There's a character that you meet a third of the way through the game called Kai Lang, and naturally there's a face-off, and that was pretty awful as well. I kind of won that without knowing how. He just sort of died.
Yeah, it's not that. because you're kind of falling into the floor all the time with that.
It's a really awkward section to navigate.
So it's like, you can't really see him very much.
I don't know what it was like in normal mode, but in hardcore mode, he fires that little pistol that, as far as I can tell, knocked off about 60 to 70% of my shield in a single hit.
Right, yeah.
And he fires like putt, like that. And it's like, if you get caught by 3 shots, you're dead.
Yeah,
So
you have to hide.
And you can't see the bullets coming. You can't hear when he's shooting, as opposed to just running around. And he seems to be able to shoot whilst running around as well. And it's so every now and then you'll just die. It's like you're in the wrong place, the wrong time. You're dead. Sorry. It's just there's no skill in surviving that section. Really, it's just if you're unlucky, you're dead.
Yeah.
There's a certain tactic to killing the airborne enemies, like when the phantoms come down. That's pretty irritating, but.
Yeah, how did you feel about that section right at the end where you're defending the missile?
The missile batteries?
Yeah.
Good God, that's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, but kind of cool though, because at that point you're quite powered up.
Difficult. It's legitimately difficult rather than...
Yeah, it's not a jib. And it's quite a big area. There's a lot of crap there, but if you can get around the stuff, then you can run away to the other end. Or
and by that point, actually taking down brutes isn't actually that difficult by that point.
Yeah, you know what you're doing at that point.
Taking down Banshees is still a pain.
Yeah, Banshees.
And your teammates still have a tendency to just walk up to a brute and go, "Hello, Black!"
Yeah. Fucking tards. Yeah.
Which is really annoying. You're just sitting there shouting all the time, "Why the fuck are you dead already?" I'm quite literally, the fight has only just started and you're dead. This is very helpful. I'm wasting my expensive Medigel supply.
None.
And in fairness, I never really actually got into a situation where I ran out of Medigel. I always sort of seemed to have 8 in supply. Even after using it for a while, it would say, "You've still got 8." And it's like, alright. I'm abusing this.
What did you think of London? Busted London?
It doesn't really look much like London.
No, I like that they had like a bunch of the stupid vehicle from the first game. Like,
oh yeah, the Makos hanging about.
Yeah, Makos.
Getting knocked.
Cool. Yeah. Oh man, I mean, there's enough lens flare in that game already, but like Earth is like just lens flare city with the Reapers.
That is a cool effect.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Those AA turrets are neat. But yeah, it's mental. That whole end section is hard, but
when you're running,
it feels
Sovereign,
justified in its
Sovereign,
difficulty.
Sorry, the other Harbinger, isn't it? When you're running towards Harbinger, that's like crazy.
There's some added stuff there that explains a few things.
Oh really?
As well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll have to save the detail of the extended cut fight
for Zachary Billis.
To when Zach does it. I didn't think the ending was bad. I quite liked it.
No, I think it's fine. I mean, yeah. I won't say any more, but maybe go back over my original comments and see what I said then. And by the time Zach comes around and we can have a full discussion, possibly.
But yeah, it was a pretty good game. I kind of wish they mixed up some of the levels a little more.
Mixed them up?
As in, because it's pretty much always go here, kill some dudes.
Yeah.
Go here, kill some dudes. Somehow I just wanted a bit more variation in what I was doing.
It wasn't much. It wasn't like explore the galaxy. It was more like, oh god, we've got to save the galaxy. Let's go to all the places and deal with it, rather than.
Yeah, although you're still exploring, sort of.
Kind of, but it's not like as much.
There's not much to really find that's interesting on your own. It's not that you really find places where there's missions. You have to be told there's a mission there, and then you can do it. I did have a few things fuck up. Like, I'm sure there were a few...
Yeah, I had some bugs. I have uncompletable quests on the Citadel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I had all the items.
Yeah.
I had everything that people wanted. It's like, well, I just got that. You go to the Citadel, can't find the guy.
That was, I mean, at the time, everyone was going on about how buggy Skyrim was, and I'm like, well, at least I can finish quests in fucking Skyrim.
Well, not always.
yeah, but I mean, I didn't have any problems in Skyrim, whereas in Mass Effect, I did, and it's like,
well, yeah, there's supposedly something to do on Decuna as well.
Right, yeah.
Like for an Elcor diplomat hanging about in the Citadel.
Oh, yeah,
so I spoke to him, and he's like, go to Decuna. I go there, there's nothing to do. I come back and talk to him again, and he's like, thanks for that. What?
Oh,
what did I just do?
Maybe you like picked up an item or some shit on that.
There was nothing there
on that planet. Oh, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was fucked up. It was just like, I'll take that. I'll take that experience. And it's like, so I did practically everything I could in the galaxy as well, and I didn't have enough to max level.
No.
So I got to level 56, and there's nothing left for me to do in that world that I can do.
Yeah. And you even did some of the multiplayer and shit, didn't you?
Yeah, you don't gain Shepherd experience from the multiplayer.
No, but you.
It is unnecessary to do the multiplayer now, which is nice.
Yeah.
And that bloody percentage goes down so fast after you do any of the multiplayer that it's kind of annoying anyway. Because it's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all in one big burst at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you sort of realise, well, I don't really have to.
Not now.
Oh, cue people entering the house.
Okay. Well, we're getting towards the end now, aren't we? How are we doing?
Yeah. Yes, we're still live. There we go. I said it would happen.
Did you? Okay. Oh.
So there. Yeah, so I'm done with that now. I think you can look forward to Saints Row chat next time.
Excellent. Giant purple floppy dildo attacks.
I'm properly looking forward to playing that.
Crazy.
Not because of the big purple floppy dildos that make people explode, I think, at some point, but...
Well, that's what you say. Okay, we'll see.
I'm more interested in auto-tuned Gangster Man.
Indeed. Okay, so that's for next time. Shall we wrap it up then? Do you think? I don't know. We haven't got time.
I don't know. I'm out, I think. I've not got much to talk about other than that. Oh, I played a bit of Death Rally on iPad as well.
I heard they're bringing that to PC, which I don't understand, because it was a PC game like 10 years ago, wasn't it?
But it's remade. It's like, so it's
different.
It
remade?
It's
okay.
It's like fully remade rather than just a port.
Oh, okay.
It's it's got 3D graphics and like things.
So you'll be able to play that.
There's not a crazy amount to it, though.
No, sure. But maybe
it plays quite well on iPad, in fairness, but it's like there's very little actual content.
Yeah. That's Remedy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lol. Yeah. Okay.
And it was free for a while on iPad. I'm not sure it is now, but...
Yeah. You have to catch it when it's free, don't you?
Bonus?
So
yeah, I'll check out
still
that.
There? Hello?
Yeah.
I thought it disappeared for a while there. Okay.
Not really.
So I'll check out that Pinball Arcade news. Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, check out the Black Lagoon table.
Creature the Black Lagoon.
And we'll report back on that next time.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I think we're just about done here.
Yeah, we're just about done. Goodbye from the Saladcast. And we hope you enjoy the London Olympic Games or something. I don't know.
Whether that be ironically or legitimately.
Indeed. So catch you next time for more video game news, etc.
Oh my god, the ping pong on.
Bye. It's kind of a statement, isn't it, when you whip it out on the train or whatever.